right, everybody, we are back. A brand new Friday review here in the Cabral Concept. Excited to be back. I'm just finishing out my 14-day extended fast. Much more to come about that on the show and in the coming podcast. But I did want to go over a podcast recap from the week, a brand new product review. I'll be going over these, which helped me tremendously during my 14-day fast. And if you're not watching this on video, we'll be looking at some specific ketone strips, much easier to use than the previous blood spot test that you needed to do before. We'll also be going over a book review here today. And this is a particular book that's great if you're feeling yourself stuck inside of your business or school or relationship or parenting and wanting to take that to the next level. This is a book that I've now read cover to cover twice on the recommendation of one of my coaches. And so I wanted to share that with you. Then we'll be going over brand new CBD laws. If you haven't heard of the new laws, it's going to be really helpful for, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 states. We'll see if yours is included. And then also research on how to recover faster. All right, so let's dive into the show here today. I'll just give you a quick update on the fast. This is my first podcast that I've really reviewed now or gone back to in about 1 week. So although we come out with a daily show, I wanted to make sure I recorded those for you before I started my water fast. I'm very happy that I did that because after about 72 hours into my water fast, I had tremendous levels of basically, I would call it brain fatigue, just recalling general information, like deeper levels of brain fog, definitely lower energy, but the energy wasn't as low as the brain energy was. And one of the things though is I was in ketosis, but I was not getting that brain clarity that a lot of people end up getting. What I can share with you is this, is that these 7 days, and I'll be doing a full breakdown of the entire water fast and how I transitioned to then juice-based fasting. And now I'm onto something that was called a functional, or I should call it more of a whole food fasting mimicking diet. And the whole experience has been really incredible. You know that I've done many fasts in the past. I've done my quarterly functional medicine detoxes for well over a decade now. And I absolutely believe that's the place that most people need to start. It is too strong of a fast to dive into a water fast with no previous autophagy inducing fast before that. But that's neither here nor there. I'll tell you what, if I look like I'm down in weight, a lot of people have been saying that. I am. I'm down almost 17 pounds, which is pretty wild for my original weight. And the lowest I dropped on this particular fast was about 14 pounds. So 13.8 pounds, and I lost that in the first 7 days. Then after that, my weight stabilized as I started to add back in some juices, but didn't really gain much weight back. Now that I'm on more of the fasting mimicking diet, I would say I've gained back about 3 pounds or so. So I still have a good, 15 pounds or so to gain back, but I'll be there. And I'm not worried about that. That's, it's one of the things that you have to decide what you want your life, your health, and all those things to be about. And for me, the reason why I was doing this was really the research and just the dedication and also the understanding. I need to be able to have empathy and understanding with all of the wellness clients that I work with my practice and I help to oversee in the protocols that I create. And so some of those people have debilitating autoimmune issues. They might be going through cancer-based therapies. And I need to work the protocols that I see detailed in the research, but I need to feel them myself. And that's why I did that. So yes, I had to experience some of the muscle loss and the weight loss and those types of things, but I'm doing that because it's what I believe in. I believe it's the best way to serve is to understand and to empathize, to go through it, and then have a greater understanding as to then how to teach it. So I'll be able to gain the weight back. That won't be an issue, but it was tough. There's no doubt about it. Now I'll be sharing much more in an upcoming podcast, so stay tuned on that. Again, I appreciate everybody's support, all the stories that I was posting, all the different, the love that I was getting. So thank you very much. All right, this week over at EquiLife, I wanted to give you an update there as well. We're heading into winter, or we're in winter essentially, and it is the holiday season. One great way to be able to boost your immune system is by elevating your vitamin D levels to a nice healthy level, about 50 to 70 nanograms per milliliter. I believe it's milliliter, not deciliter. And that is where you want to be. So always the 50 to 70 number is the sweet spot, always the sweet spot. And so you can obviously test, and we provide all that testing as well. But for most adults, I'll let you know, it's 2,000 to 4,000 IU per day, besides the extra food and maybe the daily nutritional support that you're taking. So either 1 or 2 capsules if they're 2000 IU, or it's 8 drops of our liquid vitamin D. It's that simple. Your vitamin K2 is already in your activated multi or your daily nutritional support, so you're good there. You're welcome to take a little bit more if you want. Just remember, vitamin K2 is also a fat-soluble vitamin, and so you just look at your upper limits. So that's what we found in our practice. I mean, the truth is that most adults in our practice need 4,000 IUs. Very simple to get. My daughters get 1 drop essentially almost every single day of the vitamin D, and that's 1,000 IUs for them. So however you want to do it, you can customize it for yourself by simply using the supplement, and then, because if you're not maintaining a 10 year round, that's really the only way to get it, and then you can just look at your lab levels, and that's the most precision way to monitor your health. All right, and you can get your free bottle of vitamin D3 right now while supplies last at stevencabral.com/shop. That's stevencabral.com/shop. That'll send you over to EquiLife for your free bottle of vitamin D3 on all qualifying orders while supplies last. All right, podcast recap from this past week: how to heal your inner child from emotionally unavailable parents. Definitely check out that show. That was one that I've worked with many clients as part of our de-stress protocol. I think it's very important that everyone understand it, because if not for you, for maybe someone else you love as well that you could help with. All right, Tuesday's show is the parasite and mold stealth pathogen connection, how parasites are actually connected to mold and vice versa, which is why if you get rid of just parasites or just mold, you may still have symptoms. Let's see, Wednesday's show is why you should move your meals earlier in the day. This is brand new research, really important. It gave you a specific time window to eat earlier in the day. About 80% of your calories should come during that window. And then yesterday's show was, does muscle turn into fat when you stop exercising? Is this a myth or is it really true? All of those can be found right now at stevencabral.com/podcasts. And today's show, as I move into the product review, is episode 2835. So if you want all the product links and the research links from today, head on over to stevencabral.com/2835. Today's product review is called Keto Mojos, and I've reviewed them in the past. Ketone Urine Test Strips, made in the USA, and they're a simple keto strip. It's a urine strip. I've recommended urine dipsticks before. I've recommended the acid alkaline dipsticks before. And these are just simple ways to be able to monitor your body as you choose. Now, you don't need to monitor your ketones on a daily basis unless you're actually trying to get in ketosis. Now, for me, since I was doing a water fast, my goal is usually not to get into ketosis. But the thing was, I had to get into ketosis while being on a water-based fast because my body ran out of glucose, right? You ran out of glycogen stores in your liver within the first, well, for some people 24 hours, and then for most people up to 72 hours. Now, of course, you'll always have more glycogen because you can break down muscle tissue as needed. But what I wanted to do is try to break down as little muscle tissue as needed, put out as little effort as needed, and then my body wouldn't keep calling for more glucose. Now, your body still will. That's the misnomer, and I can talk about this more in a show. People think that when they're in ketosis, they're no longer using glucose. That's actually not true. You still have to have some glucose being broken down in order to maintain blood sugar somewhere in the 50s. I mean, that's the truth, is that you do need blood sugar. If not, your body will not survive. You won't live. But when you look all you do is you have a little test strip here, and I'll hold this up to the screen. Again, if you're watching on video, you can see that is currently starts out like a peach color. You can barely see it versus the white at the end of the strip. Now, what you want to do is you just, as you're urinating, you just pass this through midstream. And then you hold it flat and you just wait about 10 seconds, up to 30 seconds for it to change color. And the zero ketones would be a tan brown, then a light peach, then a medium peach, then a dark peach color, then a cranberry color, and then a purple color. All right, so I was at that, I would say let's see, it's 80 milligrams per deciliter. I was at that by about day 2, which is the second highest. And by day 3, I was already at the highest level of ketones being produced. And that's actually where I wanted to be. And so it gives you this simple color chart, and you can actually test your ketones upon waking to see if you got into ketosis overnight. And also on your functional medicine quarterly detox, you're welcome to do that as well. There's not a right or wrong thing about being in ketosis or not, but the thing is, for an extended fast, you do want to enter into ketosis. So your body is switching over to producing ketones rather than burning glucose. Now, again, I have many podcasts on why being in constant ketosis is not a good thing and the stress that it puts on the body. But there are times when you know how to use it to your advantage that there's nothing wrong with moving into ketosis for a period of even weeks. Okay, so I will link this product up. They also have a blood prick-based one. So you give yourself a little finger prick, you drop little drop blood on there, and it'll give you the results as well. They came out with these urine strips so that I no longer have to do the finger pricks, which I greatly appreciate. So again, no connection to the company, but people who produce good products, I like to promote them. So I'll link that up. I think it'll just be an Amazon link that'll be at stevencabral.com/2835. They're also very inexpensive as well. These urine reagent strips are typically less than $10. And they give you a bunch, I think. Let's see here. This is how many? Well, it doesn't say exactly, but it's a whole lot of test strips. We'll say it's probably maybe somewhere near 100. All right, the book review of the week. Well, we had our Reimagine Health Summit just a couple weeks ago. It's hard to imagine it was already a couple weeks ago because I began my extended fast directly after, basically 3 days after. Yes, I enjoyed myself a little bit that weekend after the event, and then I got right into the fast. But I had some of my favorite speakers there. And Elliot Rowe, who has been my performance and mindset coach now for a number of years and greatly admire, respect, easily one of the number one people in the industry. The people asked from the audience got to ask questions. It was very interactive. And we did it all digitally. People got to upvote their questions. It was absolutely amazing. I mean, if you get a chance to be at the Reimagine Health Summit next year, you have to attend. It was so much fun. It really was. It was amazing. And so Elliot said, well, if I had to recommend only one book on mindset, I would recommend the book that got me into this industry. And that would be by Carol Dweck, who's a PhD. And her book is called Mindset: The New Psychology of Success, How We Can Learn to Fulfill Our Potential. Over 2 million copies in print. And the synopsis of the book, if I had to just give you the big takeaway, and it's worth reading, is that there are essentially two types of people. Some of us are born a little bit more into one way, but it can be changed, and same with the other. There's someone that's a fixed mindset, and the fixed mindset is saying that basically, this is how life is, this is who I am, this is how I was built, this is how my family has always been. This is most likely what I can achieve, and all that other stuff is for other people. That's fixed. The growth mindset is what I was chatting in this conversation with my daughters, which she calls the open mindset, which I think is probably is an appropriate term. It means that you're more open to possibility of change, open to the idea that you could achieve more in your life, open the idea that you're not in a fixed state, that this is what you've learned up to this point, but if you learn more, well, then you could also achieve more and think differently and build confidence. So yeah, it's a great book in that regard. It is, again, like I like to call it like it is. This is a great book. Elliot recommended it. Elliot's the best in the business. And so I've read it now twice. I read it many, many years ago. I would say before I even started working with Elliot, because I was big on mindset. And I like this book. It's not my favorite book. However, this is one of the best-selling books out there. And so I have to recommend it because that means that I'm more of an outlier here. Meaning like most people would give this like a 9 out of 10. Like it's like a 4, I don't know what it is on stars on Amazon, but it's very high. And so I highly recommend this book. For whatever reason for me, sometimes people don't always connect with the book. So I read this book as like a textbook. So it was like an excellent learn in reading, but I didn't have that, oh, I can't wait to read that next 10 pages, but it teaches you so much. So honest review of the book. I've read it now twice, highly recommend it. It is one of the most powerful books on mindset out there. For me, it was not a page turner, but the information that you get from it, especially in the first read, is monumental. So if you know people with a fixed mindset versus more of an open or growth mindset, read the book. You'll learn more as a practitioner, and you'll also learn more for yourself as well. All right, I'll link that up as well. All right, research. I'm super happy to share this with you. We've been offering and talking about CBD since like 2017, before CBD was a thing, because we always went by the research. I always tell people that, and it was getting people phenomenal results with sleep and anxiety and overwhelm and PTSD and worry and like anything to do with the nervous system, calm, right? That's what we actually call it, calming CBD. And so the problem is there was all this gray area in the United States about whether you could offer it or not, right? And so they actually made us take it down for a number of years, even though other people were allowed to offer it. But we were doing also a lot of teaching on it, and that was probably an issue. But here's the thing. It's back. It's been back now for a while. We just haven't really promoted it as much, but we still have the, I can say, highest quality organic, full spectrum CBD out there. And that's because we work with farms in Colorado and Kentucky that this is what they do. They grow the highest quality cannabis that's THC free. Again, you don't want to use this if you're being drug tested. And the reason is ours is full spectrum. So it falls below the legal limit, but there's a little bit of THC in there. Not enough for that big psychoactive effect, but enough to make it full spectrum CBD, which is really what most people are looking for. Now, here's the thing though, all of a sudden, then like 8 states in the US wouldn't allow it to be shipped. 6 of those states now have reversed it. So Hawaii now allows it to be shipped. New Hampshire allows it. Maryland, South Dakota, Washington, D.C., Iowa, and even Puerto Rico. So happy to say that, happy to share that with you. You'll be able to find more of that in your own state. And if you're looking for the highest quality CBD, I just highly recommend going to EquiLibriumCBD.com. EquiLibriumCBD.com. You can check it out. But again, it's always yours to choose where you want to go. Recommended dosage for children is 10 to 20 milligrams to get started. Recommended dosage for adults is 25 to 50 milligrams to get started. If it's the oil, hold it under your tongue for about 2 minutes, then swallow. Children don't have to hold it under their tongue if they don't want because of the taste. They can mix it with something, and then you can work up from there. Many of our clients use 50 to 100 milligrams for the dosage. They're looking to really reduce that anxiety, worry, help with sleep, etc. And then if you're using the capsules, 1 or 2 soft gels, and that typically takes, instead of 20 minutes to kick in with the oil, about an hour to an hour and a half to kick in. All right, so you can kind of time it that way. So that's at EquiLibriumCBD.com. Just super excited that 6 more states now have really opened up these archaic policies and allow it to be shipped in, because it really does. The plant-based benefits there are enormous. All right, last research study of the day. This is one that I'm just excited about. I think that Dr. Andy Galpin, who I've interviewed before, is a very strong voice and sound mind in the exercise physiology-based world. I think he gives good advice with nutrition and exercise and hypertrophy and those types of things. Well, he was chatting with Andrew Huberman, and when he was talking about recovering from workouts, I caught a clip of it. I can't remember if I saw it myself, if someone sent it to me, but regardless, something that I've been teaching in high performance health is that there are immediate benefits to switching from the anaerobic state after a hard, high-intensity interval training workout or Metcon workout or sprints, and then switching to the parasympathetic. And basically what I was sharing with people is that once my heart rate came down to a 5-minute rest and recovery of less than 100 or less than 90, I lie down on a PEMF mat. And I lie down on that mat for 5 to 10 minutes. Now, if you don't have a mat, that's totally fine. I just think the mat supercharges it through it has negative ion production, it has magnetics, etc. But I won't get into that today. I have lots of podcasts on PMFs as well. So here's the thing. They found that 3 to 10 minutes laying down, eyes closed, and doing box breathing or just resonance breathing allowed the body to shift faster to the parasympathetic nervous system and begin to recover faster. Now, for me as a practitioner, I always say this. I see it happen with myself. I see it happen with wellness clients. And then we get to the research years later, and the hypothesis becomes then science, researched or fact or whatever you want to call it. So I'm really happy to see this because I'm going to link it up, stress.org. I went back and I tried to find the studies for you because they didn't share the studies. The study is actually this 3-minute breathing exercise can help you recharge after a workout, and that's on stress.org. I'll actually link it up for you at stevencabral.com/2835. And the reason why this is so impressive is that so many people out there don't do well with exercise. They start to get too much inflammation or flu-like symptoms the next day or exercise intolerance, whatever you want to call it. I've told you, I've shared on a previous podcast, and again, I try to do this for the people that are the outliers, and nobody's there trying to help them because they don't do well with exercise. Well, sipping that smoothie during your workout, and now as I'm sharing with you, just lying down for 5 to 10 minutes, which is exactly what I do on a PMF mat after a strength training workout, can be tremendously helpful in recovery. The last just contraindication. Don't do this when your heart rate's well above a 90 or 100. You actually need to allow your heart rate to come down first, because lying down directly after sprinting or lying down directly after a really hard workout is actually contraindicated and bad for the heart. So you want to let your heart rate come down first, and then you can do your recovery. It should only take 5 minutes maximum for that heart rate to come down either way, and then you can go from there. So if you like these details, if this is of interest to you to really maximize human performance, check out highperformancehealth.org. I appreciate all your time here today, everybody. Thank you so much. I'll be back answering our community's questions this weekend. Have an amazing weekend. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.